So we've got like the axle totally shot there. Oh, hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of the 2016 GMC Terrain rebuild. This week I hope that we get the interior torn apart, replace those pesky side curtain airbags that were hidden in the last video that we talked about, and tear apart that front suspension and see exactly what we can get repaired on there. So let's get started. Alright, I got the Terrain in the garage here in the shop, and the goal for this work period is to get the locked up seat belts out. They are totally locked. Check and see if the pretensioners are blown, and get the SRS module out, and it's down in that console below it. So first thing we got to do is get the seat out, so we got room to figure out what we're doing there. I don't know what the deal was, but these seat belts were totally locked up a while ago. And now they're loose and they buckle fine and act like they catch. So I got to take the headliner out anyway to change these roof airbags. So I guess I just need to go ahead and take all that trim off, and maybe I can see underneath. I've heard that sometimes they blow and they will still move, but guess I just need to get down in there more and look at it.
A few moments later.
Alright, I've got the front seat out. If anybody ever has to do that, there are two big Torx bolts that go on these back two holes. They're not that easy to get to. But then when you look in the front, you think, man, there's two nuts underneath the bottom of the seat on each side that are almost impossible to get to. There's no way I'm going to get this out. Well, all you have to do is remove these back two bolts and then lift up on the back of the seat and slide it backwards, and there's two hooks. They go in those slots. And it just slides right out. Ooh, money. Making money on this build already. Then just make sure you have all your plugs unhooked. And yes, this is some kind of an aftermarket, it looks like to me, heated seats. They must have been put in by the dealer or something though, because they're from the same time when it was new. So anyway, I've also got all this out right here. I cannot tell if the seat belt is blown. Seems like it's working right. But I think I'm going to go ahead and send it in to take it off and send it in to safety restore anyway, just to be safe, and just put a note in there saying I'm not sure if this is blown or not, but can you check it? So now I'm going to take off this panel here for the console. I think this whole big panel comes off, and then I'll have to loosen the bolts to that and try to lift it up enough to be able to get the SRS module out.
12 seconds later.
Alright, here's what it looks like with that those panels off the side there, and there is the SRS module right down there. So we've got to get those two bolts right there off, those two nuts off, and somehow lift it up enough and get it out. I'm sure we'll have to take that bolt there loose, and probably that one, that bolt right there. Just anything we can do to raise it up just enough to get it to be able to have clearance, pull it out sideways. So we'll see what we can do here. Alright, SRS module is out. That is a killer. Getting into those bolts way back up in there. But if you just do it a little bit at a time, you can finally get it and you can turn it sideways and get it out. So here it is. So that's one of the 3 things I've got to send back. Next I'll go ahead and take these seat belts off, and then I'll check that pretensioner here on the seat. I'll flip it upside down and see if there's a way to take it off. It looks like it might be blown. It's a little bit wrinkled. I don't know how that works exactly, but I'll find out. Alright, so now I have that seat belt off. There's 3 mounting points, that one there. Then there's a clip that holds a little thing that just keeps it from getting tangled up right there in the middle. And then another bolt down here, and then there's this plug. Alright, so I've got the other side off, seatbelt off. That didn't take very long. And also found, flip this other seat over, and this buckle here that I was wondering about, that is a pretensioner, because there's the charge cylinder. You can see that piece of cable comes out of there, so when you have an accident, that like pulls that in there and makes this tighter. So I've got to figure out how to get that out and send that back with the seat belts. Okay, so got it out. This is the pretensioner. See how it's wrinkled and squeezed up? It's that cable pulled it up inside there. So that's got to be sent back too, which means the one on the other side needs to be sent back too, which means I got to take the other seat out. Alright, so the other seat is out. Got the pretensioner out. These plugs were all in good shape. You just stick a screwdriver in there, pop that little orange part out, and then it releases it and just pull it out. And the driver's side, or the passenger side, is easier to get the pretensioner out than the driver's side because of all the seat controls that are in the way on the driver's side. So that was pretty easy. So now I have everything out that I need to send back to Safety Restorer, and I'll show you how that works. It's supposed to be pretty easy. I've never done it before, but we'll get online on the website and punch in what we've got, and we should be able to pay online and everything, and then just send it to them. Okay, so here was the total price. 1 module reset and 2 seat belts equaled $249.97, and then the shipping is $30 for them to ship it back to me, and then I've got to ship it to them. So it's $279.97 plus whatever my cost is to ship it to them. So that should get us back in business. Alright, so I think the next step is to go ahead and drop down this headliner, which means every little thing that's bolted to it has to come out. So these are the grab handles, front, the visors, that light center up there, this light, another light back there, those mounted, I don't know what those are, maybe clothes hangers or something back there. These panels, just everything that's touching that headliner's got to come down. So might as well do that while we got the interior out this far, and then and drop it down and get these airbags out.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so if anybody ever says to you, let's take a headliner out, it'll be fun, do not believe them. This was a nightmare. But I finally got to where the blown airbags are. And almost everything that I thought was connected to the roof is just really in the headliner, and it will drop down. Like these things are on there with magnets. So there's a clip that clips this into here, and then when you push it up, the magnet sticks to the roof. These are magnets. That's a magnet. Then the rest of it is all these, places where your little grabber things are on the top. So anyway, I should have enough room to get in there and change the airbags now. But I had to move these back panels right here, on both sides. I had to take those all apart and kick them in at the bottom, and they wouldn't kick in at the bottom with the seat in there. So I had to take the back seat out, kick both of those in, so I could let the headliner down off the top of that so it wouldn't rip it. And when they blew, it ripped it a little bit, but I think I can fix that right there. So anyway, I had one clip that broke on this magnet right here, so I'm gonna fix that, and then change the airbags, and then try to put it all back in again, but not tonight. Alright, so the plan now, we're looking over the top of the headliner at the airbags on the driver's side. So I'm going to get an impact wrench and a clip tool and try to get all that out, lay it down on the ground and make sure the other one matches, and then install the other one. So the airbag is out. That was not bad at all. Just bolts and some tiny little clips that you have to use snap ring pliers to get out. I'll show you how to do that, and that one plug. So let me line it up with the new one. Alright, so here they are. And yes, they look like they match. And if you'll notice on here, it has LH on the side. And then I'll make sure the bolts, like missing a bolt there, so I'll use the bolt from the other one. Snap ring clip is in that one. So not much to this except just screwing it back in the same holes. So let's do it. Alright, there she is. All hooked up, plugged up, ready to be covered up. Got one more to do.
A few moments later.
Okay, and so here is the other side. Completely installed. Plugged up. So next thing to do is start putting this headliner back up. But I can't do that until the clip that I repaired is dry, which will be tomorrow. So I guess I'm done for tonight. Alright guys, the goal tonight on the terrain is to figure out what the deal is with the brakes. Because I need to be able to move this thing around, and I really don't like driving it with no brakes at all. I'm going to use the emergency brake to stop it. So somewhere from between where this brake line got pinched off back up under there, we need to find how that goes and gets to the anti-lock brake system. So I'm not sure where the line goes and all that, so we're going to have to take this plastic stuff off here, go ahead and try to get this fender off so that we can at least kind of see what's going on back in there. Maybe give us some more room to figure out where it's routed. That fender needs to come off anyway because it messes with the door, so let's get that done, and then maybe we can see what's going on under there. Alright, so here's what we're looking at with the fender off. Always glad to see that this has not had any damage. It's all straight still, so no problem with that. That's a relief. You're 100% sure till you get back behind it. Looks like the only damage I'll have to do is straighten that little bracket there and straighten this bracket here, which won't be very hard. Well, I've got it jacked up. This vehicle keeps getting more expensive. So we worried it might be after the first episode when we found out we had all this hidden damage. Check this out. Spinning the tire here. So we've got like the axle totally shot there. It's just stuck in there. Somebody just shoved it back in there so it looked like it was okay. So I'll have to see what that's gonna cost. It'd be nice to have known that while I was at the salvage yard. I could have got one. Alright guys, I followed this, and I'm sure you can't see anything here, but I followed the brake line. I'm laying underneath the car. There's the drive shaft, just went past there. There's the brake line right there. So it's right underneath the, right there is right underneath the steering wheel. And then it turns and goes up. So it probably goes into the bottom of the ABS box. Up in there somewhere. I see some flexible lines way up in there, and you cannot see those from the top of the motor. So I'm going to have to get some stuff out of the way up in the top so I can see exactly where that goes. And man, that's going to be fun trying to fish out of that. Just to replace that brake line. Okay, so I'm back up at the top now, and all that stuff I need to get to is way back down, back up in there, way back up in there. So I'm going to try to remove this fuse box so I can at least see where that line is going and maybe get it unhooked. Hopefully the fuse box can do that easily. Alright, so I've got wires and plugs everywhere, but there is the ABS right there, control module. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines going into it. I see an RF and an RR. I need an RF. Yeah, there it is, right front. So this one right here, it looks like. And I'll trace it back and make sure that's the one going down there in that area where we couldn't see. So we'll just have to unhook that and then try to fish it all out. Alright, so that is right. I've traced it down. It is this one right here. And it does say RF on it, right front. I'm going to use this special wrench. These are for brake fittings that these things tend to want to round off, so this has more of a bite. Just has a nice little slot in there for you to go through, and it grabs on more sides than a regular wrench. So let's try it and get that thing off. Okay, so I'm trying to decide what to do with this brake line. The problem is there's so many different turns on that thing, and it goes from this side all the way to the other side and in and around a whole bunch of stuff in there. There's no way to get it out. So I'm gonna find out if there's a way that I can make another connection in that thing and bend my line, say from here over. I've got brake line fitting connectors where I can flare it and all that stuff, but I'm going to talk to a mechanic and see if that's okay to do. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and tear out all the suspension go ahead and get the strut out and this piece here out. So I've already got the axle bolt loose. I'm getting ready to tap on that and see if I can get it to break loose in here before I start tearing the rest of it out. Let's get started. Alright, so we've got the strut out, all the brake stuff loose, we've got the steering spindle hanging down, and we got the shaft out, the axle shaft. So there's what it was destroyed. So I have to get another one of those ordered, which is not that big a deal. It's pretty easy to put in actually. And I checked this right here and it's tight, so there's nothing stripped in there, I don't think. So I'm gonna get that ordered, then you just drive it on and get it back in this flange part of the hub here. And really, let's see if there's anything else I need to change while I'm in here. I'll look it over good. Well, that's it for the Terrainwreck video this week, guys. We did get a lot accomplished. We got the interior torn apart and seat belts and airbag module and all that stuff ordered, which hopefully is a quick turnaround, and we can get that back in next week, along with some suspension parts and all that. So hopefully next week we should actually see some stuff going back together. So the tearing down part's usually not the fun part, but the building back up is what I like. So we'll see you next week. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
And always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. See you guys next week. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.